Let's go back in time.
My story begins in 1962. We had to say dickety, cause the Kaiser had stolen our Word 20.
Because Paul's too uncreative to talk about anything today.
This is going to take a long time, so you may want to get some snacks.
It's Throwback Thursday.
Mike, do you love barbecue? I'll tell you what, Mike, you can go to a gas station and get the best barbecue you ever got in your life. It's a wonderful place to live. Fried catfish, all the good food that we love to eat, and it's not good for us as football players. You're going to have it there, Mike, I promise you.
That is the man who should have won Best Actor in 2009 for The Blind Side, not Sandra Bullock. And many people are calling for Sandra Bullock to lose her 2009 Oscar for Best Actress because of this controversy involving The Blind Side. For those unaware, a couple of days ago, Michael Oher, the subject of that movie, alleged that he thought he had signed adoption papers with the Tuoheys family, played by Sandra Bullock, Tim McGraw, others in the movie, that he thought he was signing adoption papers. He actually signed over conservatorship. Plausible, right? Well, the Tuoheys family's response is rather plausible as well. I don't know how much they truly love Michael Oher, given this statement by their attorney, Martin Singer. Oher's claims are outlandish. The idea that the family ever sought to profit off Mr. Oher is not only offensive, it is transparently ridiculous. Again, this lady is a effing, motivational speaker now, let's be honest. Continued the statement by the lawyer. In reality, the Tuoheys opened their home to Michael Oher, offered him structure, support, and most of all, unconditional love. I don't know. They have consistently treated him like a son and one of their 3 children. His response was to threaten them, including saying that he would plant a negative story about them in the press unless they paid him $15 million. Both sides, I think, have plausible arguments. I think they both do. So now we find out who bought the best lawyers. That is legitimately what's going to tell the story of this for the future. It's who hired the better lawyers. Because if you're familiar with our legal system, pay your lawyers.
Yep. Whoever has the better lawyers is, man, they've been done wrong in this whole situation. And whoever has the worst lawyers, money hungry scumbag.
That's what it's going to turn into. It's possible that both these sides are in the wrong here. Hell, but Sean, as you just laid it out, you're right. There is no justice in America. There's only rich lawyers. Get the richer one. You'll probably win.
And, I don't know if mybookie.ag has a betting line on this, but I'd put the Tuoheys as favorites to have better lawyers, considering they're Ole Miss boosters for 20 years.
Yeah, you are definitely
They own 100 Taco Bells.
I saw the house in the movie. Holy Christ. That was a big-ass house. Anyway, I watched the movie last night. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which is to say it sucked. I'm going to give it a D. Not an F. There were a couple of moments where I was like, damn, I legitimately feel for Michael Oher. But here are some of my issues with the movie. The football was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. 2, Oher finally figuring out offensive line techniques because Sandra Bullock's character goes on the field and says, they're your family. What is this, Fast and Furious? Rip off. That little kid, shut up. Can you send that kid? Can you put him up for adoption and give Michael Oher his room?
A lot of that little kid.
That little kid, too much of that little kid. And that little kid was actually, the same actor was on Friday Night Lights, and he's a lot more bearable on that show. But in this, get out of here. You're a part of the recruiting for Michael Oher?
Yeah, that part.
You little bastard. Also, apparently that was real.
Also, some light recruiting violations by Philip Fulmer.
Light? Extreme. If you've watched the movie, they show a lot of football coaches. We'll talk about one interaction.
I rewatched all the just the football coaches scenes They're hilarious.
They are, and as you laid out in our text back and forth, unintentionally, I will say about Ed Orgeron, though. Orgeron, I believed every minute of it, and I love him even more than I already do. I love Ed Orgeron.
Believe it or not, the Ole Miss coach came out looking awesome in this,
He did.
this movie.
And Hugh Freeze.
The future Ole Miss coach.
The fictional NCAA compliance officer keeping Michael Oher against his will was ridiculous. But you know what I really liked? Two things. One, I liked how Michael Oher just went John Wick on this gangster's house when he gets a gun pulled on him and just beat the hell out of a bunch of people who clearly have guns. Not realistic at all. This is at the very end of the movie too. And he didn't even need to go into this house at all. It was a weird scene that was completely unnecessary.
It very much felt like, hey, we need one more action scene.
Right.
We need one thing where Michael Oher stands up for himself. And that's what they chose.
And also, the guy who gets that Michael Oher blocks into a wall that makes him go viral or whatever. That guy was awesome in that game, and I love him. He was a hard worker, and he still beat Michael Oher for 2 sacks. Now, he probably said the word boy a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But now let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Yes, Sandra Bullock, she won Oscar for Best Actress. But I'm not going to lie, she distracted me the entire movie. Because holy God, she is gorgeous in this movie. I think that's why she won Best Actress. She is throwing 110. And I know she still looks great. But this is 2009. I'm imagining she was probably in her late 30s, if not early 40s at this moment in time. She is throwing seriously high heat. And I feel like if they cast somebody else to play this same character with all the same mannerisms, but not as hot, people are going to be like, yeah, this character sucks. Shut up. You're too lippy. And it's the honest truth. Let's all be real here. I'm not trying to be sexist, but there is definitely an element of looksism in America, and if you're hot, you can get away with stuff.
Pretty privilege is what they call it.
Mm-hmm. And
as
also,
two people who've exploited it to great heights. Look at us now. We know it when we see it.
We definitely do. Here's the thing in this movie too. There's a lot of sexual tension, and again, the title of The Blind Side. If you've seen the movie poster, which blind side do you really want to talk about? Do you want to talk about Michael Oher at left tackle, or do you want to talk about the picture that they used for Sandra Bullock? You know what I'm talking about there. The Blind Side. Lots of sexual tension in this movie. This is Sandra Bullock just talking about the kind of bod you need to have as a tackle.
The ideal left tackle is big, but a lot of people are big. He's wide in the butt and massive in the thighs. He has long arms, giant hands, and feet as quick as a hiccup.
Now, if you have different music underneath that, say it's the kind of music you'd hear in an adult film. It's like, womp, 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 womp. Doesn't that sound a lot different? Here's another very sexually charged moment that I may have edited just a little bit between Nick Saban and the fictional Miss Tuohy, played by Sandra Bullock.
The Windsor balances are a nice touch.
Well, thank you. You obviously have excellent taste.
Well, we appreciate quality.
I find him extremely handsome.
Yeah, I'm right here, Lena.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa. How loyal is she really to Ole Miss if she's just yeah. Nick Saban, take me. You liked my house? Take me, Nick. Take me. And then there's one other moment, and this is at the end. Honestly, this is probably just good advice to give anybody going to college.
Michael Oher, you listen to me, all right? I want you to enjoy yourself, but if you get a girl pregnant out of wedlock, I will crawl in the car, drive up here to Oxford, and I will cut off your penis.
And there you go. The Blind Side. D. But this scandal, this back and forth, there will be lawyers. A+. I love this scandal so much.
It's not good when the best part of the movie is the very beginning where it's Lawrence Taylor breaking Joe Theismann's leg. That to me, I was like, when they started with that, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be an awesome movie. It was not an awesome movie.
Until yesterday, Sean, I didn't even know that there was a Michael Lewis book about it, and the entire first chapter is about Lawrence Taylor. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to watch more Lawrence Taylor. They also call, one last nitpick. This actually should have made the movie an F. Okay, in this opening monologue, you're calling Joe Theismann a legend. Joe Theismann changed the pronunciation of his last name to rhyme with Heisman, and he was a good quarterback in the NFL. That word gets thrown around way too much. Way too much. Legend? Is Joe Theismann a legend? He's a legend because his leg got broken on Monday Night Football.